All right, what's happened? Doing another one of these YouTube community survey results, talking about the results from one of my latest community surveys on the channel, and I had 380 votes. And the question was, what is your favorite deployment method for a knife? It only gives me 5 options. I know it's kind of lame. There's more than 5 options, but I would say I picked the most 5 common. I'll also go over the comments. So the options were opening hole, think Strider, or Spyderco, obviously. Strider, a lot of different companies use opening holes. Number 2 was a flipper, which is, in this case, an XM18. One of the original flipper knives out there was the XM18. So this is on the tri-way bearing system. The next one is thumb studs. So I've got an example here, the Pina Mula. Front flipper, I only have one, and that's this little Kaiser Vatland front flipper, which happens to also be a rear flipper. So, and the next one I did was automatic. Now I put push button, but it also encompassed, and it doesn't let me edit things. I put push button, but also OTFs. It's a different mechanism, but it is an automatic opening, and so I lumped those two together. So those are the 5 choices. Some of the comments. Assisted flippers. I was actually pretty shocked to see assisted being on there, because there's literally no reason for assist when you have a flipper. Like, okay. Emerson Wave was one I was going to put on there and didn't. And that was one that I thought might be kind of popular. OTF and OTF. So, you know, OTFs was one. I should have put like a slash push button automatic slash OTF automatic. So we'll just call it automatic opening, which is obviously spring assisted, both, but on the OTF it's opening and shut, which is cool. So that's a little different. I wish it gave me more reasons or pull options, but it doesn't. So results wise, out of 380 votes, the highest vote getter was the opening hole, and at 33%. It was pretty close actually, and I'm not surprised, because this is my favorite opening method. I've got, you know, you've got your Spyderco, your Strider, different style with the oval. Oval here on the mini sheepdog that works really well. And I've got multiple Spydercos, multiple Striders that all use opening holes. Honestly, like if I could design my perfect knife, it would have an opening hole as the method. And that's not necessarily because of Spyderco. I do like Spydercos a lot, but if this Chris Reeve Sabenza had an opening hole, man, game changer. I know there's a guy that does mods on them, but they don't really work well for middle finger flicking because of the way the lock bar sits, and there's just no space there. So the Swish Bowie, whatever, was a good option. I wish I would have never sold mine. It was a little bigger than I liked. But yeah, if I could design my perfect pocket knife, it would absolutely 100% have a thumb hole opening, because this right there is my method of deploying a knife. But you also have a thumb option. You can also slowly open the knife. Thumb hole is where it's at, guys. I'm telling you. So I'm not surprised it was number 1. But close behind it, at 27%, was a flipper. A lot of people like flippers. Flippers are probably the most popular kind of knife out there. You see so many flippers being made, it's insane. And again, like someone like Rick Hinder was one of the first, you know, knife makers, I think. I mean, I think that CRKT M16 was the first flipper knife ever, I think. But the XMs were one of the first two, and they didn't even flip back that well back then before the tri-way. But anyway. So flipper was second at 27%. I actually only own one flipper knife, and that's this. But this is also a thumb stud deployed knife. So there you go. Multiple options is the best. But this is the only flipper I own currently. Oh, actually, that's not true. I guess this is technically a front flipper and a back flipper, so I do own this. But yeah, that's in my collection, in my ADC rotation, I only have one flipper. Most of them have thumb studs or opening holes. Thumb stud came in third at 26%. Not surprised. I thought it might actually, at one point it was higher than flippers, and flipper kind of edged it out. I prefer thumb studs as my second opening option. My preferences is especially dual thumb studs. Like this knife has the bug out, and all Benchmades have dual thumb stud. Not all Benchmade's, but most. But like the Sebenza here has one, and that's actually one thing I don't like about Sebenzas. And you can get them double lugged and send them in and pay for it and such, but it should just come standard. It's so weird, and the Ikosis do come standard. So I wish the Sebenzas, because I like the Sebenzas a little better than the Ikosis, and I like this. The small Sebenza is definitely superior to small Ikosi. So I would love to see these with dual thumb studs. It's such a weird thing they don't have dual thumb studs, but so a single thumb stud's good too, because you can slowly roll that and flick that open. But with the nice thing about with dual thumb studs is you can, if the detent's right, you can middle finger flick knives too. But it's still, the opening hole works better. So that was third, was thumb studs. Auto was actually fourth, whether it be OTF or push button. This is a Benchmade auto that it's on loan from a buddy because I sharpened it for him. So I don't love automatic knives. I don't have any anymore. I've had a lot of Microtechs. I've had a lot of Protechs. I've had a lot of automatic knives. I just don't carry them because they function well to open and stuff, but that fighting that blade on the way back, I've never been a fan of that. Never. So that was fourth place, and last was front flipper at 3%. It got destroyed. Apparently people don't love front flippers. This one works good. Kaiser does quite a few. They have, the Kaiser Feist was one of the first front flippers I remember. Maybe not the first, but it's just one I remember to be one of the first. It works fine, and I don't mind it. Like the Axon that I just reviewed, I should have had that one up here, because that one's actually got thumb, not even a thumb hole. It's like a thumb groove, which works really well, and I'm a big fan of that too. So I would put that. There's not a lot of knives that do that, though. I think Vero is one of the very few that has that nice recessed groove to be able to middle finger flick and use it, but it's not a full hole in the blade, like Spyderco's. So, but front flippers, man, they came in dead freaking last, 3%. I think the Emerson Wave would have beat it. I think a lot of things would have beat it. And it's interesting because a lot of guys buy knives. Wow, that was loud. For fidget factor. And fidgeting with a front flipper is one of the funnest, I think. It's kind of satisfying, right? But it's not my preferred choice of deployment to use a knife, like to open it, and use the knife. On this one, the front flipper works way better than the rear flipper, but like on the Axon, it has a front flipping option. I typically am only doing that when I'm fidgeting with it. Otherwise, I'm just using the thumb holes, or the V-slots, we call them. They call them, I should say. The dual thumb stud's nice, but overall, like I said, if I could redesign this knife, it would have opening hole on it for sure. Like, it'd be perfect. This knife, if it was about an ounce lighter, maybe even a half an ounce lighter I'd take, and had an opening hole, it would be literally the perfect EDC knife. It just missed the mark. I don't mind the dual thumb studs, but I would prefer an opening hole, and it's just a little tanky and heavy. And other than that, this would be perfect. So I wish someone would make a knife this size. So knife designers, this is for you. In fact, I'm talking to a knife designer right now about a knife design he's doing. Dylan Mallory does some for Artesian Cutlery. And I said, look, dude, if you could make a 3 1/4 inch blade with a 4 1/4 inch handle with an opening hole, deployment, titanium, and have it weigh a decent amount, I would sign up. Perfect knife. The Spidey Chef comes super close for me because it has a lot of those things going on, but it's a little bit bigger and the blade shape's a little wonky. I like a drop point blade. So again, drop point blade would be great. So someone out there, and if I had all the CAD and all that kind of stuff, I would just design it myself and have someone make it, and there's probably something close, right? This Schlisch Bowie came very close. So it's a little bit bigger. But it's like, I want a small Sebenza to be a medium Sebenza. They won't make them. And I want it to have an opening hole. And I pretty much have my perfect EDC knife. Guys, that might exist, and if you know of one, please tell me, because I will buy it. But it's got to have those parameters. Those are really, specific parameters. It's right in my wheelhouse, right in the middle. I had a skinny Para-3 with titanium scales that was nearly there. The only difference was it was a little heavy because of the titanium scales. This Para-3 is one of my most carried and used knives, but it's micarta, which is great. Micarta is fantastic, and it has like that Strider handle. But or if Strider decides to make a knife a little bit smaller than the SNG, but not as small as the PT, then you got a winner there because that's going to meet all the requirements too. So, but I do carry SNGs a lot. They're just a little bit bigger than I like the EDC every day. I'm telling you, if I can find that. But I'm not surprised by the results of this pull. Opening hole is where it's at. And again, if I could design that knife, that's what it would be. So it would have an opening hole. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you like this. Please comment down below if you like this series. Please let me know. Let me know your thoughts. I mean, a lot of you voted. Leave in the comments, what is your favorite opening method, and what's your least favorite, maybe, you know, something like that. All right, guys. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.